It's all about getting your members back on as safely and quickly as possible.
It's when the lights go out, that's when your membership needs you the most.
And you know, we're here to serve our members, and if we have members without electricity, we've got work to do.
Well, the worst of the forecast was supposed to be up in our neighboring co-op to the north of us. And then all of a sudden on Monday night, the forecast changed a little bit and everything slid south. We were in the bullseye. Our entire service territory was in the bullseye.
For a lot of us who live in Missouri, we know that the weather can be very unpredictable, but I think with Snowstorm Rocky, this was the first major outage that we had experienced. We got to our highest peak at over 17,000 meters without service, which is over 50% of our meters.
I've been alive for a little over 19 years, and once the storm did hit, first thing that entered my mind was, how are we even going to get around?
Whenever a snowstorm hits, whenever an ice storm hits, whenever a thunderstorm hits, the working conditions are not favorable.
It was such a deep, deep snow, heavy, wet snow, that it was sticking to our lines, weighted down trees, and just so widespread destruction.
I'd always heard about big storms, this big storm, that big storm, and oh John, don't worry, you're going to have a big storm at some time in your career, and this one was it. It came and it hit hard.
I think for a lot of us, when we started hearing conversations of bringing in help from other cooperatives, that's really when, the magnitude started setting in.
We had about 120 extra workers here on site from 19 different co-ops here in Missouri. And
some of those guys came in the middle of the day. We tried to give them a paper map, trying to decipher where they were and where they needed to go. It was quite difficult. But we handed a few of them iPads. They took it, they could see where they were at through the GPS point and see where they needed to go. And
each of us just met with a few of the guys and just gave them a quick little crash course just on, kind of the mapping side. And then, they also had access to some of the outage information app suite as well.
So we literally deployed crews out on their own without our own people with them to go start turning outages on, and we could keep track of them.
AVL was helpful in getting food to our people. I could find out where the crew was and drive there and bring them a hot meal. And that hot meal, I think, did a lot for morale. I mean, we spent a lot of time and effort to make sure that we got them good comfort food. And AVL helped us get it to them while it was still hot. So, that's pretty cool.
I use the app suite at home. I can monitor the outages from home. In fact, that's what I did the morning of Rocky. When you know there's a storm coming through, you can find out how badly were we hit and in what area.
There's a huge difference when you're putting something on Facebook to say there are 11,512 outages versus putting there's about 11,000. If you know the exact number, your members feel like you know what's going on. We know about you. We knew about your outage. I think that helped let people know we were prepared to deal with this, and we were going to keep working on it until we got the last member on. They kind of were on our side. They were cheering us on. I got to say that was surprising. I didn't think, I thought we could manage the negativity. I didn't think we would end up with a cheering squad, and that was great.
Our members were huge on pulling us in and pulling us out with their four-wheel drive tractors, their dozers, clearing paths for us. Well, they helped throughout till the last person was on.
And there's nothing better than being a lineman out there, even if the snow's falling, if it's raining, if it's cold, if it's hot, to turn those lights back on and have that ability to see those members smile, knowing that you just provided probably the biggest necessity in their lives today. That just makes you feel good.
Just looking back at the whole experience, there were a lot of managers and stuff that said we could have easily tacked on a couple more days to our outage time if we did not have all the technology we had.
There's always improvements, and one improvement is that we need to get more iPads out to more crews, and we needed to get AVL on more of our vehicles. Those two items coupled together would have put us in an even better place.
In a typical large storm, you might spend a full day just going around checking to make sure that you have everyone on. But with the technology, we're able to ping the meters when we turned a circuit back on. we would go out and ping those meters, and very quickly we'd know if every meter responded. We were running about $200,000 a day in labor alone, and so if you could save just one day with that number of crews out there looking for outages that had been left off, you know, that could be very costly, and we believe that we probably saved about a day's worth of labor. And quite honestly, when we finished this storm, we knew that we had everyone on, and we were able to send people home much sooner than we otherwise would have.